Okay, we're on live chat. This is the end of February podcast. I decided to try live chat because I want to sneak in some nap time. The video quality and sound quality that I tested earlier was good. However, now that we're in the live deal, I don't know if that changes things. So I'm sitting on a couch. We have, this is the Yarn Closet from Tucson, Arizona. I'm Laura. I'm legally blind. Um, so that's where some of the weirdness comes from. And I want to say hi to all the friends and the fabulous regulars. Love it, love it. Dee and my mother. My mother. Um, Mom, you're supposed to be out shopping for me. Um, we send out monthly prizes from the list of subscribers and commenters on YouTube. So subscribe and comment. And Dee says hi. Um, there's also a group in Ravelry, and sometimes I do pull prizes from there. So, whatever. Oh my gosh, people are chatting, and I can kind of see it. Kind of. Kind of. Um, or something crazy. We're live again. We're back. We never really left. That was obnoxious. So sorry. Um, anyway, I'm sick. I'm doing a live podcast. Be a subscriber, be a commenter, you'll win a prize. Cranked sock tubes, which, oh my gosh, technical challenges today. So a cranked tube is this part. It's just plain. Sometimes it's self-striping, sometimes it's crazy. And then this one I just finished. I put in an afterthought heel and toe. I had done the toe a long time ago, so it's really crummy. And I will probably end up redoing it. And where is my sock blocker? Anyway, that's from my this month pair of socks. And see, here's the other one. They're going to have mismatched heels. Because I am doing a pair of socks every month out of a tube for myself. And so that's my 2019 I'm sticking to it deal. My husband was gone for a few days, did javelina hunt. That's like a wild pig. Yuck, gross. I don't even eat ham, so whatever. Um, and so I moved some furniture around because I've always hated our sectional. We've had it so long that the cushions don't like stay in. They kind of push their way out and drives me batty. But now I have the big cushion here because my mom gave me a little table I can use in the yarn closet, which is fabulous for projects and spreading out a little bit. And then the kids have two kind of chaise couches that they can watch Netflix on in the living room, except we have no electricity in our living room right now. And just fixed the batteries on my little scooter. Um, so it's just been one crazy thing after another. I blame it all on the cold weather and the snow that we had in Tucson that stayed for like a whole day, day and a half. Um, the kids were thrilled. I was thrilled. It was fabulous. I'm from Minnesota, so I love the snow. But now we're going to be in the mid 70s to the 80s, and um, it's going to be great. We're going to be in hot, hot weather before you know it. So all my winter stuff that I haven't finished, who knows? But I am going to have that pair done today, probably, of socks for this month. And get ready for that March giveaway, because I'm going to do, I think, a 50-gram sock tube and a 50-gram hat tube, because I have a circular hat machine and a circular sock machine. A circular hat tube looks like this. It is wide enough to fit on your head. And you know what? If you guys don't like the gauge, you just pull it out like you do a sock blank. Here I am trying to crochet ends on this little tester piece to make what's called another bonnet for my machine. The bonnet is what you start, and then you put in some yarn that's considered waste yarn, and then you crank your reel tube thing. Because I've got a ton of little projects that I pulled out to put on the table. And my mom bought these, and I didn't like them as actual mittens, but I'm going to finish them as fingerless, because they had a secondary color that really didn't go. It was just a plain leftover brown. This is a different camera scenario. It's a little bit weird. So those are some of my little projects I'm working on. I am doing a shawl for someone. I am so behind. I told her I wouldn't have it done in December because we just decided she wanted it in December. And then with all the crazy family life stuff, it has just been nuts. Yes, I think you will get a hat tube. I'm thinking about, since we're not growing real fast, we have a unique community here, that if things get stagnant, I will just take the previous winners who don't have hat tubes and put them in a drawing at some point. The neatest thing about using this other camera is that I can show you pictures from my Instagram. This is my favoriteest shawl I ever made, and it's with yarn from Stranded Dye Works. Someday we'll do something like that for myself, but it was just such a big and long project. I just want to do other big and long projects that keep me a little bit more engaged. So I'm doing some sweaters. I have, okay, I fixed the problem on this one. And then this is my Braille stitch marker, because I can hear it as well as feel it. That's how much I've done since I fixed my problem. And that is a raglan cardigan from Lion Brand. And here is my beginning attempt. My cast on edge is just not great. I think I have to start doing like crochet cast on edge, because I really like that finished look. And so I'm starting in the round, because that's just not moving fast enough for me. So hopefully this one in the round, I'm doing the same pattern, but hopefully it will take off. Or the numbers work that I could actually do a worsted weight sock arms in that. I'm going to just do the body up until the split point for the arms, and then just decide which one I'm going to go with. If I'm going to go with the sock arms, or if I'm going to go with just that basic raglan. But since I'm going bottom up, I don't think I can do a raglan, because you can't do a raglan that way. You have to do it from the neck down. Okay, well, I guess I'm doing sock arms in the green then. Sock arms is a neat pattern for using self-striping yarn for your sleeves. And I like that idea a lot. I like the idea of just being able to sit quietly and knit with the kids not in the periphery and interrupting me. You wouldn't think. Ooh, I-cord cast on. That sounds challenging. Although I did a swatch with an I-cord cast off, and that was easier than I expected. Okay. So anyway, March is going to be great. We're going to do the giveaway probably the first podcast, so like next week. And then there'll be more activity in March on the website, TheYarnCloset.com. I'm also planning to do some not necessarily yarn related stuff for the Patreon people that I will talk about on the podcast or on the website. So like a short video for the Patreon people about chair, massage, relaxation, whatever. You know, my years of being the massage person, and because we have so many housebound people in this group, I thought bringing some of that in would be interesting. And if it's not, tell me, comment. I've been doing more in these last few weeks with the cold and being more housebound because I'm not working right now, in like relaxation, taking 10 minutes and putting on the headphones, even with the kids in the background and the dogs and the crazy, and listening to a little bit of music and trying to do a relaxation to get me into a really calm mode. Because to be honest, I don't sleep well. I don't feel like I get a deep enough sleep to be rejuvenated most of the time. 3:30 wake up yesterday with my daughter, 4 o'clock today. So I get her to fall back asleep until 5:30, but you know, it's that mom life thing. Ah, very cool. So hopefully that will grow in Patreon and on the website. Hopefully my voice isn't that bad and you can still understand what's going on here. I do have the Patreon account, and once we get 25 Patreon subscribers on a regular subscription, then we are going to up the prizes to twice a month consistently, because sporadically they are. Last month, 2 of my people just never responded. I tried to get a hold of them. So there'll be some extra milestone I'll come up with, because that month nothing went out. And I just love seeing, I've seen a couple of people on Instagram lately who've finished a sock tube, like Barbara over at Knitting I Love just finished a sock from a Lolo Did It yarn that I sent her a tube from. And I'm excited to hear on her podcast what she thought of that process, because I know she's never really done an afterthought heel. So it's nice to know. I think it was Dusty Dimples or Katie J Knits, somebody else that had gotten a tube and didn't like the gauge. So they pulled it out and used it for a different project, and that's fabulous. The thing that I think is neat is there are times that in the sock tube it's more stripy, not necessarily self-striping, but stripy. And then when they pull it out and use it for something else, it's not at all. It gives a totally different look. Anna in New York had a sock tube that was pink and blue and very striped. And she pulled it out and made a hat out of it. And the hat, instead of being these little skinny stripes of pink and blue, the hat was chunks of pink, chunks of blue, chunks of pink, chunks of blue. And it was just crazy to see the yarn like that. My voice is not going to last for much longer today. So I have shown 2 of my sweater projects. do not mix up your unmarked bits of sock yarn and straight merino, because I know that's what I did here. So then I got a hole, and I haven't been wearing these that much. But luckily, I have this darning thing that my husband made when he was woodworking. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm not sure if I'm going to completely replace this heel with something else, because I am pretty sure it is straight merino, or if I'm going to take a sock yarn and darn across here and then reinforce across the whole thing. I saw a knitting thing about that some podcast, I don't remember who, she was English, because there's that Japanese stuff that people are doing with denim now, where if you get a hole and you do a lot of this. Well, she did it with a hole in a sweater or an Afghan, I don't remember, but it was yarn related and in a similar version, so I might try that. But I am truly enjoying my socks, and I'm enjoying getting into the sweater routine for 2019. It is definitely the year of the sweater. And I'm hoping it's the year of the podcast, that we can grow the website and the fun and the friends. Hey, I was just talking about you. Is that Barbara? I can't wait to hear how your sock tube worked out. I'm so glad to see you give it a try. I love that. Yeah. So anyway, check out Patreon. And you finished? Yay! Wow, good timing. So check out Patreon, and $1 a month is great. I do have the Growly Bear sponsor, and they do some great products. And I have recently switched to their deodorant because I'm going non-aluminum. Okay, it's really good. It's a great deodorant. It's not an antiperspirant, but it's not as dry as those lovely aluminum sticks. So that's a bit of an adjustment. I'm trying to do, some things just to be healthy. And because I have that surgery coming up later this spring, and I haven't talked much about this, and I'll talk more about it later. But anyway, I have 20-year-old breast implants. Yep. And so I'm getting them removed because if you get breast implants, the manufacturers tell you after 8 to 10 years you should replace them. Even if you get saline, the saline is encased in silicone, and that leaches into your system and is a hormone disruptor. A lot of women have no issues. They get them replaced on a regular basis, they're fine. Other women have found after many years that they have issues, and they're now, even the federal government is starting to recognize that there may be some validation to this breast implant illness. And what that boils down to is it's like an illness from a foreign body, because they've known for years that certain people react to a foreign body, like if they have a knee replacement or a hip replacement, and their body fights it too much. Similar to like people who get transplants, they have to be on massive medication because of that, your body's desire to fight it. I didn't really have a problem, and a lot of the symptoms are things I had before, but around the 10-year mark, I had my son, and then people started to say, doctors, well, you had a child, so it's baby brain that's just not going to go away. It's the fact that you're pushing 40 and perimenopausal. And so for the last 10 years, that's all I've heard. It's just because I'm a girl, I had babies and menopause. But now, one of the doctors said, no, there's validity to this. And so I'm just getting them taken out. And I had a friend here locally who's also done it. She was on the verge of lupus, MS. They were looking into things. Within months of getting them removed, that wasn't an issue. Headaches, rashes, inflammation, spacey brain, foggy brain, exhaustion, some weird stuff. I have another girlfriend who they keep finding weird stuff in her lymph nodes under her armpits and removing it, but they can't tell you where it came from. So who knows? I don't know. But I'm over it. I was over it within a couple months of getting them 20 years ago. And so I'm looking forward to that. However, it is a surgery. And so I'm trying to ramp myself up with being as healthy as I can prior to it, which is one reason for the non-aluminum underarm and stuff. I just want to make sure that that my system's as kind of cleansed out as it can be, so it can just focus on healing and repair from the trauma. Because when you take it out, there is some space, and so you have to wear double drains. I don't know who that is. I'm gonna let it go. So I just want my system to be the best it can be. So that'll be the end of April. I'll probably mention it a time or two again. If you have any questions, let me know. I am no expert, but I'm at that age where I'll try a lot of stuff just to be the best I possibly can be, because I'm old and I still have a 4-year-old. Look with your heart first. Enjoy your knitting.